The ancient Indians called it Scottsdale. I don't know if that's true, but we're not going to fact check. Do you know what Scottsdale comes from?
I mean, obviously, it's from having a Scotsman somewhere, and But the interesting about Scottsdale is even before the Navajo lived on this land, and the white man took it away, there were civilizations here that had created the irrigation system. So when the city was repopulated, they were looking how to bring water here, and somebody went on a mountain with their binoculars and surveying equipment looking at it, and all of a sudden realized there was already a water channel system that had been built like hundreds of years before.
By the Indians.
No, not the current.
The aliens.
Maybe the aliens.
It was the aliens, John.
But the prior indigenous people that nobody really knows much about. And so they said, wait, this is already there. All they did was just reconnect it, and the smoothness of the slope, because when you bring water, the Persians did this. It was called the
You guys always take credit for shit.
Well, they did, between the Persians and the Greeks.
What about the Indians up in this Mohenjo-Daro?
Well, they figured it out on their own.
Yeah, we had running toilets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so guys, that was good because you're about to be wowed. So wowed. I have a special guest, but he's going to be on a lot because that's how we get views. When you put the smartest man on the planet in your podcast, Death of a Spine Salesman. And Dr. John Eddishami is here. Thank you, John, Dr. Eddishami. My mom will slap me if I call you John. So sorry for that, Dr. Eddishami.
Yeah, I'm looking for my uncle every time somebody says Dr. Eddishami. But yeah, no, and your Celsius, we were talking about how it was recalled for excess caffeine.
Dude, don't tell it. That's all my viewers are loaded and friggin' high
with
off
the Red
Celsius.
Bull. Yeah, it's good. The caffeine does you good and keeps you sharp, and Red Bull's
get you wings.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of Red Bull. I mean, if you read economy books and whatever else, they say, how do you get market share? Coca-Cola dominated the soft drink industry. There was Pepsi, second runner-up. And then somebody comes in, and if you say, you ask an economist, how do you get market share? Well, you offer more at a lower price. Well, Red Bull offers you less at a higher price. And they just took the market share away by doing so with their marketing. And that's the power of the marketing.
Yeah, so who was the marketing genius on Coca-Cola that put cocaine in Coca-Cola?
Yeah, is
that accurate?
That is accurate. So the guy that developed Coca-Cola,
I want that guy's job.
Yeah, he was addicted to morphine.
Yes, there you go.
And then during his time, all these people from literally the Civil War. This is how far back this goes. So these wounded soldiers, they had amputations, a lot of pain, discomfort, and there was nothing to cope with their pain, and they were given morphine, and they became addicted to the morphine. So he was trying to find something to get these people. You talk about the pain epidemic now, opioid epidemic. There was one after the
We have an opioid problem? Come on, spine surgeon.
There you go.
Come on, spine surgeon. We have an opioid problem. We're not going to go there because, look, I mean, you're a man that knows so much. How do you know so much?
I retain a lot, and I look at a lot of cross-referencing. So I'm a big fan of don't take the facts and actually see the facts not from one perspective, because that one perspective is always skewed. Yeah. So you need infinite number of perspectives. So, one man's, freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. One man's whatever is another person's savior. And so there's a lot. Stories are complex, multi-layered. And for you to understand them and interact with them appropriately, patients come in and they're just focused on their MRI and their bulging disc. I never forget, I was talking to a pre-med student today. I had this lady come into my office, and she was already booked for like an anterior-posterior fusion. And she
said lumbar.
Yeah. So it was a lumbar. It was a lumbar fusion. This was back in the day when I was doing a reasonable amount of backs. And the surgeon, and she had asked the surgeon, "This sounds kind of involved. Is there a way to do this more minimally invasive? And the surgeon said, go see John. He's Dr. Eddishami. He does a lot of MIS fusions and see what he has to say. So I saw her, and she just had a degenerative spondy at L4-5 and, moderate severe stenosis. So I asked her, when does your back hurt? And she said, when I vacuum my stairs every day.
Ooh. So she's hauling that.
Yeah, my back starts throbbing, and I was
my back starts throbbing. Thinking
everybody's
of that.
back starts throbbing. Nobody And I asked her, "Do you use a dust buster, one of those handheld things?" Like, no, I have a dirt devil. I pick it up, I take it up the stairs.
I see that in my head.
Yeah,
dirt
and
devil.
I'm like, okay,
it's red,
exactly, and it weighs 25 pounds. So I'm like, ma'am, you really need a psychiatrist. You have
Get
OCD.
the Dyson.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the Dyson.
Or actually, go get on medication for your OCD. And she's like, what about the spondy and instability?
Get on medication.
No, I really did. I mean, I got her treated, and then and so she stopped vacuuming. And I mean, I said at some point you're probably going to need the fusion, but not today.
Well, can you send her to my house?
There you go. Exactly.
Jessica, I love you, but you do not love to vacuum.
That's actually a healthy person that you're married to, because there is no amount of organization, putting the teaspoons in the right spot. There's no amount of effort you can make to combat somebody that wants things in a particular way and is amazingly obsessed. So the fact that your wife's easy-going, that's a testament to her greatness.
She has to live with me.
Yeah.
You got to understand, you're going to meet her, right? She's Persian, half Catholic. Her mom's from Wisconsin. She milked cows on a farm.
Wonderful.
And then her dad is David Ibrahimon. He's an Iranian man that came in the 70s to San Jose State, just like my father, because it was the cheapest university, and it was filled with orchards. But in Iran, that was the cheapest university. So David Ibrahimon was the first one to come out here for his entire family. They pooled all his money, and there was no failure in his face, in his path to doing what he's done. And he's been super successful. How? Not as an electrical engineer, what he wanted to study, but as a restaurateur.
Yeah. He would have been successful no matter
in whatever
which
he
path.
did.
Yeah. So some people, they just know how to win. Some people, have excuses. And once you realize that it's not the path or the journey, it's how you cope with diversity, the resilience, and even your title, death of a spine salesman.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't see it as a death. It's really transformational. So the industry's transforming.
We're dying. Yeah. I know. You're an optimist, dude.
Yeah.
You're an optimist, but we are dying.
The service that's provided is there because there's a need for it. So spine surgery.
Thank you for that.
No, it's true though. Spine surgery is complicated, right? And there's a lot of stressors on the surgeon. And then they add more stressors because then your regular scrub's not there, called in sick or something, and then they send you a scrub.
I want to call in sick.
Well,
what is that like? Who do I call to call in sick? Oh, I'm the owner.
Exactly.
It sucks. I can't
exactly.
do that.
You can be in the hospital. Like,
I just wear a mask.
Getting your appendix out. Yeah. Then you're allowed. So I've definitely. But the reality is, it's ridiculously stressful, and it's even stressful once you actually know what you're doing. When you first start out and you have all these decisions that your brain's making, your brain can only handle so many off things. And the Marine Corps studied this very extensively. So the Marine Corps has identified, if you give a soldier, and it doesn't matter if it's a regular soldier or an officer or a lieutenant, whatever, and the Army guys and Navy and the military guys can correct me on this. This is what I've found, I've looked at. If you have 3 stressors, you can manage it. So if you just lost communication with headquarters because your radio's down, 1 stressor. All of a sudden, you have a wounded soldier, 2nd stressor. 3rd thing is, something else is happening. The enemy's moving. You have all these stressors coming in, and at some point, your system gets overwhelmed. So as a surgeon, when you're going into the OR, every one of the things, you have a new anesthesiologist that you have to watch intubate because you've never seen them. They're going to hyperextend your neck, and they don't want to use a gyroscope or whatever it might be. And then the scrubs this, and then all of a sudden, you're told that some of the instruments that you usually use, the autoclave, somebody forgot to put a biologics in it. It's like, great.
Contaminated.
And so you're making all these choices, and all these choices are robbing you of the focus that you need to actually be taking care of the patient.
And that's your struggle, right?
And that's the struggle.
Okay.
So anybody, and in this conflict, and it really is, because you're trying to get this patient came into this hospital or surgery center in a certain state. You're trying to get them out of this same place that they were under your care, okay, in a better place than when they came in. Same thing with your father-in-law's restaurant business. People come into the restaurant hungry. They better not leave hungry, or else it's going to be.
Oh yeah, there's a bad review.
Yeah, there's a bad.
F you, Yelp.
Yeah, exactly. So they
reviews.
came in with certain concepts, certain expectations, certain things of my pain getting better, my right arm working better, whatever it may be, and you need to fulfill those expectations. And it's on you as the restaurant owner or the surgeon to get that patient there. And for that to occur, you need your instruments, you need your implants, you need good anesthesia, you need a lot of things, post-operative pain control, a nice hospitalist that takes care of the patient, physical therapy. So it's a real team effort, but at the end of it, the patient's interface with this is the surgeon. So so as these stressors go up on you, and it's not just that one patient, you got 4 cases or whatever that day that you're trying to get them through. And so if you are just starting out, you don't have the experience, you have all these decisions to make that you haven't made before, and all these obstacles that are coming, you have very few allies in this. The anesthesiologist, if they're experienced, can potentially help you and like lower the blood pressure so there's no bleeding, or relax the muscles, or the neuromonitoring guy can help you. But in terms
if they speak English.
Yeah.
I knew you'd like that one.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, though, you're scrubbed in, and the nurse who's circulating is so busy charting and documenting and doing whatever else they have to do.
Telling the rep to put their name and phone number on it and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
You're mean. Get out of here, rep. Okay, look, John, that is awesome. Our audience is majority representatives, and I want more doctors on it because you're sharing your struggles, right? So let me tell you how we prepare for your surgery, because this will probably be more relevant to the people there. So I have checked in your instrumentation the day before. Now, SPD has made it so difficult. I got to put these tags on it. I got to log it in, and it's in this abyss, right? And you're looking on the other side of from the decon to the clean side, and you go, oh my God, look at that shitstorm. Mm-hmm. How are they going to get my 20 sets for your lateral procedure with perk screws all uniformed and nicely put together for my case cart, for your case cart, based on this stupid barcode tag? That's why I tell every one of my reps to write it out on these tags. I don't care about their procedure. It's broken. I write it out in bold in a Sharpie so it does not get worn away. Also, I know every single set, the 20 sets there, I know every single instrument. Now, I take it to the next level. You might, NuVasive or Globus might give you 20 sets for their laterals. I took it to 5 to be considerate for that old lady back there putting these sets together, because I'm thoughtful. And we have a 25-pound weight limit, and some of the companies have not figured it out. Yeah. So I don't know where the studies came on that, but you mentioned a 25-pound Hoover or, Dirt Devil. So now our sets have to be 25 pounds. That's freaking real. Okay, so now I've basically, I have all my sets, and we go with God. Go with God sets. Make it to my case cart for your lateral procedure. Right now, I haven't slept because all I'm thinking in my head is if my sets are all together, if they didn't mix up the inner shelf sleeves, the inner shelves with another set. If so, it doesn't matter. I know them by heart. I'll figure it out on the back table. But it's a real mind blower when the sets are so disorganized or I have different companies' sets. That makes for a fun experience. So that's what keeps me up at night. Then I wake up and I'm waking up super early for a 7 o'clock start. So I get to the hospital around minimum an hour before. And I'm in my car and I'm meditating. Do you meditate before your surgeries?
Not now, but I definitely did when I first started.
I'm meditating in my car going to battle because I have to walk from the parking lot to the operating room. That right there is a challenge. Yeah. You know it, dude. And that's why we love your support, because I now go through the hospitals. Everyone's looking at me because, hey, that's a representative. He's a guest at the hospital. Let's immediately pounce on him. So I'm ready. I got my sword in hand. Yeah. Come at me, dog. So I get in. I got to go to the machine. I got to check in. What credentialing system is this? I forgot. There's about 20 of them. Shoot. I forgot my login. I'm losing time. Yeah. I'm losing time. Oh my God. I finally got it. I log it in. I'm missing that document. I never got a notification. Now can't go in. Why? Because this stupid piece of paper that says HIPAA compliancy, I've been HIPAA since day one. So now I get past that credentialing because I had to go to the materials manager, and I told them that I'm missing my HIPAA. Please let me in. And I'm begging with them because all I want to do is see your eyes, see and talk to you about your case. Please, because I never had some time to go to your clinic to get briefed on what you want to do here. And sometimes, God bless you guys don't tell us because you don't even know until you fire up the films and you look at the patient's name or MRN, whatever you guys do to spark your memory. I go immediately to talking to you, right? I'm flustered because it was difficult to put on some paper scrubs. I had to bypass the locker room. I have no place to keep my clothes. You know what? If they steal my Lululemon pants, that's happened numerous times. That's why I wear Amazon. No more Lulu because it's just a waste of money because it gets stolen within the hospital since I don't have a locker. So now I got my scrubs on. I got my badge. I got my red hat. Not to mention if I had to wear rep scrubs, which I am so thankful. If any of my hospitals sign up with rep scrubs, forget about seeing me. And honestly, I feel so confident that would hurt patient care. It will hurt my team, and my team are my surgeons. So do it. That's stupid. So now you're saying I have to wear these rep scrubs because I get it. The scrubs that I'm wearing on, I don't wear scrubs going in. I wear shirt and tie. Always. Not tie as much because shit, I can't tie one anymore. My hands are my dexterity is terrible. But I am suited and booted. Now I take off my loafers. And I have my tennis shoes and I get them on. I'm all sneaked up. I'm all ready to go. It's like a football game, John.
Yeah.
I'm
suited up.
Suited and booted, right? In a different form. So I got these paper scrubs because they say my scrubs or whatever carry bacteria or they're the reasons for infection.
Yeah.
That's crap. I'm the reason.
No, I mean, the reason for infection, by the way, is the patient, right?
Thank you.
They're a diabetic smoker. So, when was the last time you saw a 16-year-old Scully patient get infected? They don't because they have the immune system. We go to, Ghana and Africa, and we were doing these Scully surgeries, and the window's open, and there's flies in the room, and nobody gets infected.
Is that with Boyachi?
Yeah. With
damn, you went?
Yeah, everybody went. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, damn.
So
he
everybody's
was a G, huh?
Yeah, and it washes a lot of green off of you, and it gives you this perspective. And the thing is, I mean, the rep scrubs and all these badges and everything. It's never about the patient. It's a
money grab.
It's not even just a money grab. It's a control mechanism.
Oh my God.
So what it is just no different than putting like you watch these sci-fi things. They put a track, or was it Matrix or something? There's a tracker in you.
They implant it.
So at some point they'll start implanting you.
I'm waiting for it. I should start manufacturing it. That should be my.
There you go. We got a company right now. Business plan.
Hey,
same thing for the dog. So seriously, they have these things for your dog to track them. I was like, why can't I get one for my kid? If my kid's more important than my dog, what happens if my kid goes missing? So
actually, some would say their pets are more important than their kids.
I don't know about that. Yeah, but what it is it's this whole idea. And this is what, and I've never been to business school, but I've interacted enough with the business community to kind of appreciate this. They want systems in place where the individuals are of no relevance. So you, with your charisma and high IQ and hardworking work ethic, you are a personnel. Your success is coming from you, the personnel, the actual person. So you divide things up into personnel problems or personnel challenges and system challenges. And if the system's messed up, you can't fix a bad system by putting better personnel. It'll help it, but you actually have to improve the system. And if you have a personnel issue, you can maybe put some systems in there to do it. So the whole point is they want you to be the same as any other rep. So they don't want any differentiation between your service, but that's your selling point. People use you because you're better than the other rep, right? So that's the reason you have surgeons, right? The hospital hates that.
They hate it.
So they want you. Yeah.
I had a really refreshing meeting.
Because then what they want is they want to be able to go, and the fact that the products differentiate themselves, they want to go to the company and say, hey, how about we get a rebate or a discount if we give you all our business and all that nonsense? And so they want to be able to have control over this. But if that company has terrible, or not even terrible, not as dedicated personnel as you do, and you look around and how many of you are out there, right? And so then the surgeon notices the difference, right? So the surgeon notices the difference, the OR times increase, outcomes, the surgeon still gets the outcome, but how hard they work. So I never forget when I was a resident, one of the attendings, and they tell you this right off the bat, and your chief resident tells you right off the bat, how a chief resident or attending knows you are a good intern or a good resident is by how hard they have to work. So if you are the chief and all you do is tell me what's going on, and haven't been a chief resident, I could tell you which interns, these famous spine surgeons now, Chris Kepler, Hanjoy Kim, they were my junior residents. And when they were on the service, they were doing better than me, they're literally keeping the patients out of trouble,
But that's a great experience.
But that's the greatest.
Yeah.
But so then as the chief.
But you're the leader. I'm sorry.
But you're the leader, but you don't have to work. You see what I mean? You're just there to just listen to them.
You're a problem solver.
Yeah.
You're a delegator.
But these junior residents, they were solving the problems on their own initiative. They were identifying them. And so when you had somebody that wasn't as good, you knew because you had to go, and they had seen a patient and they were trying to tell you what's going on with the patient. And it was so painful to listen to them tell me about this. You say, you know what, please stop. I'm just going to go see the patient myself and assess them myself because I have no confidence. So the same thing, like you talk about turning your trays in. So when I would have a new rep that I've never met, we are going to go meet at the dock, or you're bringing the trays to my house. I'm going through
You do that?
Of course. I don't trust people.
No,
I'm serious.
I'm going to hug you across
No, seriously.
Oh my God, I would love to do that.
The stress is on me, right?
Yeah, but stress is on me too. I would love that.
And that's the problem with the systems. Like, so I had one of the great reps that now retired and he's not in the industry. His name. Yeah, his name is Blake. And so what ended up...
I do that, by the way. I'll go to your house.
So one day I remember we were doing some standalone, And he said, what do you need? And I said, just bring everything. And he said, listen.
Yeah.
In that voice.
I hate that.
There's 14 trays for a cervical standalone. I'm like, are you kidding me? And by the way, we're going to talk a little bit about additive. That's the beauty of additive.
This is perfect for it. Yeah.
We have one tray. There's one tray.
Implants are wrapped sterile?
Implants are sterile.
Screws are wrapped sterile?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're plating, you're doing the standalone, you're doing the
Tell me the
corpectomy.
layout of the tray.
So
I'll tell you if I need more trays or not.
Well, there is no more trays to come with it, right?
There's
just
one tray.
There's one tray.
Okay, so explain to me the trays.
So you have a double stack tray where, so that whether you're using a regular implant, and then, potentially, some sort of modified peak implant, standalone, they all share the same trials. And the other thing is...
those trials, do they have stops on them?
Oh, it's modular. So one of the things we came up with, we give you control. So your surgeon hates stops. I have one without stops. Your surgeon demands a stop. So you can actually modify your tray to meet your surgeon's preference, because you know what the field needs.
You are speaking my language. Thank you.
And it's just like Minecraft. You're going to fight a big demon. You need a big sword. Great. You need to fire arrows, you switch your weapon. So what it is you're able to, your surgeon better than anybody
100%.
else. And you don't even know, and even what you carry in there, because the implants are sterile, you put your tray in, and if your surgeon wants to switch it to peak, then you just take the peak implants in. You don't have to switch about. And if you switch from a standalone to a plate, just... It's the same screwdriver that puts the screw in for the standalone.
Do you have a cervical plate that goes with your system?
We're in the process of testing it right now. We actually got it. And so
I've seen some of your cases where you do a standalone where you put screws in and then plate it.
Yeah. So
what's the reasoning behind that?
The reasoning for that is how the cervical spine really heals. So what you need, when you are fixing a long bone, like a femur or some hip fracture, you need to have that bone under compression and collapsing. And part of it also is those bones are taking such high loads, it's really hard to hold them perfectly still. So original AO teaching was absolute stability. You get as much fixation as possible. Then they found out that's not the best answer. What you needed was some sort of a little bit of what's called dynamic stability, and that's what those like cervical compression plates came in. The cervical
dynamic,
plates, that shorten over the and those were garbage.
They were so thick, they were so wide. They're like, dysphagia.
And then the other thing, dysphagia, please, but then also you lost anterior column height, and you ended up in kyphosis. So
interesting.
They fused. It wasn't that they fused, and this is one of the things that we formed additive implants for. The problem with ACDF, and everybody's like, oh, it's just an ACDF. They do fine. Well, you come to realize that they don't do all fine. I mean, they all get ridiculous pain relief, right? But if you fuse somebody in kyphosis, you don't restore their lordosis, they hit 55, they start losing muscle mass. So at 60, you start losing 4% of your muscle mass. And the reality is no one can afford to retire. There's no Social Security, there's no nothing. So you have to work well into your 60s and 70s just to have health insurance and have a roof over your head. No. How are you going to sit in front of a computer when you've just lost a significant amount of muscle mass at 72 trying to type away? And the bottom line is you literally don't have the endurance. So putting the neck in the proper anatomical alignment is a key part of this. So coming back to these transitional plates, it wasn't that they didn't fuse, they fused in kyphosis.
Because they pull here, and the load is on the anterior of the actual cage.
Yes.
And then when you pull, even if you have screws in a fixed manner,
yes,
it is not getting the middle of the cage and the posterior third.
Yes.
It's pulling, and now it's getting a patient in kyphosis. It's my theory.
No, it's designed to collapse to get you into kyphosis, but they thought mistakenly that the challenge was to get a union. But the problem is, if you get a non-union, it's really easy to fix. Just take the stuff out and put new stuff in. The problem is if you
that really? Come on, you
It
have
really
to open
is.
up a neck.
Yeah, but-
ENT's going to be called on some people that are not as good as you in the cervical spine.
maybe, but that's still easier to
it's real.
fix than a malunion.
Oh.
So once you're fused in kyphosis, then it's a lot harder to deal with that. You got to restore
I
it,
hear
and
you.
so what the trauma people found is, you could allow this to happen, but then what happens with the cervical spine is that you need absolute fixation to prevent bone loss and bone absorption. So these are the fundamental. So when we started the company, Additive Implants, it wasn't that we had a design, like we had no implant design at all. We knew what we wanted to avoid is subsidence.
Yeah.
Okay. And the way to avoid subsidence
How do we avoid that?
is you get cortical loading rather than central cancellous loading.
Yeah, I hear you.
So you can't, and
go out to the joints.
go out to the
unvertebral-
uncinase, yeah. And the reality is for, some European
That's difficult
male.
for some people, though.
No, you learn it. And so what you do is what allows you to do that is the trial. So our implants are 20 millimeters wide.
Yeah, big
and
wide.
so and the number one implant size that I use is the 20 millimeter wide implant.
Can I just say, though, John, Dr. Eddishami, not everyone goes out to the joints.
Yeah,
That's such an AO concept,
Yeah.
right? People are scared shoes.
No, well, the thing is, if you give them a trial,
Yeah.
and you say, listen, just trial the 16 and you're okay. But did you just put a 16 in? Just trial the 18. And the trials are nice and smooth. They're not going to do anything.
Should I recommend that, or is that offensive?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's offensive or not, but and it's individually based. But I mean, for me, I post pictures of 20, and then everybody's like,
you're
"Wow,
really
your cage!"
good on LinkedIn, dude.
The cages are super wide. So I think once you start, the key is once you start trialing these, and the key is not to tell the surgeon to do it, just put the trial in, see what happens. Okay. And then they start, and then what that wider decompression also does is you think you're far out. So I never forget, I put an 18 millimeter cage in this patient, and I thought I was out and I had foraminal decompression, and I didn't. So I ended up, the guy had some symptoms after the surgery, got a little bit better, but he still had ridiculous symptoms. I had to go do a posterior cervical
just gonna say, you went
anatomy.
from back to back, right?
And it's like, the guy's like, wait, why are you doing this? Why didn't you get it? I'm like, I got everything I thought I could from the front. When you start putting wider implants in, what it does is it forces you to a better decompression. And there's a good precedence for that. So when you do a disc arthroplasty, and the thing that's actually made me a better surgeon at doing ACDF is by doing arthroplasty. So with the arthroplasty, you definitely need to put the widest cage in there because it's going to subside and it's going to be a disaster.
What's your disc of choice?
So it changes, right?
Yeah.
So
you change it based on the patient.
based on the patient. So
Yeah, I like that because that's a big talk right now on Jared Ament and
there's no, I don't think there's anywhere. So I get a lot of young people they sent me with seizure disorders for whatever reason. So you got a seizure disorder, guess what? You're getting a Prestige, a Medtronic Prestige, metal on metal. There's nothing to break. There's nothing to dislocate.
Oh, yeah.
You get an MMA fighter. I got a whole bunch of MMA guys, and I love it. They all come in.
I'm trying to train MMA.
There you go. There's actually quite a few.
Well, they punched me in my face because I'm
that's the
trying to
problem.
see if
Yeah,
I can.
yeah.
I'm going Fight Club style. I'm trying
There
to
you
be,
go.
I'm trying to.
I mean,
be-
it's the nose. I mean, you can always tell that
cauliflower ear.
Yeah, that and their nose is always crooked because it's been broken so many times.
Yeah.
The ENT's like, what do you even want? How am I even going to set this? But so if you are some sort of contact athlete, honestly, even somebody that plays baseball or whatever, and teaching used to be like on a baseball player or somebody, you would do a posterior cervical friend. That's what Peyton Manning had, by the way.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning
Well,
had a posterior cervical.
We talk about he had an anterior approach twice.
Yeah, but he had a franotomy as well.
Oh.
That didn't work. And
Is that what he started off
yeah,
at?
that's what he.
A
So what?
posterior kind of like
posterior decompression, a keyhole front. And the logic was that this guy's getting hit by 350-pound linemen every Sunday, so he needs to need to keep us stable. And then So, majority of these NFL surgeons, what they actually do, because the patients, and this is just the NFL, I mean, the basketball players are a lot more compliant than baseball players.
Not Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr hurt spine surgery. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What
No,
you didn't know that Steve Kerr, he hurt spine surgery because he's like never get back surgery.
Oh. Yeah,
sorry, he's a Warrior, and I'm from Golden State area.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, Steve Kerr.
Yeah,
thank you for voicing that. Just because of the good outcomes, you got to just say that.
Yeah, but no,
doesn't that piss you off though?
No, it doesn't, because nobody wakes up. Nobody wakes up saying, "Hey, I'm going to have spine surgery today," right?
Who wants it?
No one wants it, right? So that's why.
Yeah.
So they come in. I'm like, it's not what you want. It's like, hey, you can't use your left arm. You want to use your left arm? Then we got to go decompress it. And so, or you're myelopathic or whatever.
Yeah.
So
no chiropractor can't fix that.
There you go.
Come on.
There's a lot they
say
can't
there's
fix.
some good advertising over here.
Not for
What about stem
myelopathy,
cell?
but. I'm going to stay out of that, but
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you.
Yeah,
but I'm a big fan of don't knock something unless you know it. But we're talking about our disc arthroplasty. So anybody that has that people don't think is a candidate for arthroplasty, like person with seizure disorder. I have a whole bunch of them. High impact sports, competitive bicyclists. It's not the bicycling; it's the fact that they freaking crashed their bicycles that you got to worry about. And the judo guys, whatever. I do the Prestige LP, and it works really great.
Yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie. I sold it at Medtronic,
and it works great. The problem is it lacks footprint. And it really does take longer to put in.
What about ProDisc Vivo? Are you not?
Yeah. So ProDisc,
that's an oldie, but it revamped.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only problem with ProDisc, and they're going to fix this.
You don't like your Sentinel rep?
No. My Sentinel rep.
Who's your Sentinel rep?
Is Sean, and Sentinel is great because they have everybody can carry it. So
we carry it.
Yeah,
that's
anybody,
why.
Yeah,
am I putting you on the hot seat?
No,
when I ask you this?
not at all.
Okay,
not at all.
Because I know all the people at Sentinel. They love you.
Yeah, no, and
they won't let their representatives come on my show.
Really?
They went all the way to the CEO.
No, we'll get John on board.
John.
Wakosi, the brother that owns the guy that owns. Yeah,
can you get him?
Yeah, he's at
they
LSI.
said my name in the freak.
He first of all,
he doesn't like me. It's
not a like thing at all. He is so confident in who he is. You see
I'm
what
confident.
I mean?
Are you confident?
Yeah, I am. So that's why I'm comfortable being on your show. So he has been interviewed multiple times for a lot of these things. I think it's for him. We'll get your viewership up, and we'll literally.
Well,
get
I
John
signed
on.
with this group, so now we're gonna go viral.
Yeah.
So and you, my friend, are going to make it go. To the moon, not to the moon, to Mars with Elon. Do you want to go hang out with Elon?
Definitely not. I can't keep up with him. You see what I mean? I can barely keep up with you.
Everyone loved him in the Bay Area.
No, he is. It's
now
great.
They're burning Teslas.
Yeah.
Everyone in the Bay Area has a Tesla.
Yeah, it's. He is his own person. And you got to kind of appreciate him for who he is, the way you are.
Yeah.
But
dude, when he was younger, you would just watch him. He was a DICK.
Yeah.
He wanted to impress women.
But that's a male trait.
I didn't need to impress anyone. I impress everyone with my dance skills.
There we go. They've even, the Economist did this study, and I'm a big fan of quoting studies. They took some sort of primate, a gorilla or whatever it was, and there's a clear hierarchy in their society. Yeah. Like the alpha gets the most amount of grooming. They get the ticks out of them. All the other, females and males groom them. They're all on them to clean them and have grooming. So their currency, the way we got dollars or Bitcoin or whatever, in the primate world, grooming is the currency. How many minutes of grooming you get? So this biggest guy around got the most grooming. Then they gave them a box of papayas or something really that they loved, which was better than their regular feed.
It makes your urine smell better.
Exactly. And the thing was very difficult to open, but there was a trick to it. And the big guys banged it and they couldn't open it. Then they took the biggest loser in the group who got 0 grooming and taught that one in private how to open the box all of a sudden. Guess what? He shows up. Boom, 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 opens up the papayas for everyone. Everybody comes, enjoys them. Literally that afternoon, he's the one getting groomed.
Thank you for describing big med tech. If you're a Medtronic rep, a Globus rep, you just described them with the papaya in front. They're getting shots fired, huh?
I don't know about shots fired. I'm just quoting a study here.
I know, but I took it to the next level to make it relevant of death of a spine salesman.
No, but
Are they box openers?
Yeah. So absolutely.
Did the technology sell itself? Did David Paul and old Pat Miles and all those people? Yeah, Josh Calipong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming after you, Josh.
Yeah. So
come on this show, baby.
You know,
can you get Josh on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Josh is pretty much.
He loves you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I love him.
I was at his
and
wedding.
Ryan Stokes.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them. And Josh is exceptional. Exceptional.
Tell me why Josh is so good.
So number one,
he gets hated on all the time.
Yeah, because he wins.
Because he's good.
Because he wins. Yeah.
Same thing happens to me, John.
So literally, Josh could have been a nuclear physicist. I mean, he has a high. I kid you not. Tell
everyone.
Yeah.
Tell all the haters out there.
Yeah, he has a higher IQ than I do. Like, not a little bit, profoundly more. Okay, and
that's a big compliment.
No, it's true though.
Where do I rank in your?
I haven't worked with you on a professional level to assess that.
We're changing that. I mean, how quick am I making this happen?
No, you can just go take a night. So there's a surgeon in town. I mean, you interact with him. His name is James Hawkins. The guy is a certified genius. He's got a little.
I was labeled a genius.
Yeah, but
my mom said it.
There you
Does
go.
that count?
That's love. That's good. That means your mommy loves you.
Mom, you lied to me.
So what you do is there's some society, Mensa or something.
Yeah,
you take a test.
I did take the test.
Yeah, and then that'll give you a piece of paper or they don't. And so,
I wiped my ass with it.
Yeah, there you go. But it doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, it does. It means just lets you know. So you just simply see more things. So literally, when I'm in a case with Josh,
does he come into your OR still?
No, of course not. But when he was,
I come into OR still.
Wonderful. We'll have you in there.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, let's talk about that. And this was a segment I did.
Yeah.
He's the principal of Omega.
Yes.
Does Ryan Stokes come into your OR?
Yeah, Ryan Stokes on his birthday came and covered the case.
Hey, Ryan,
wow,
you.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, I mean, I come in because I did a segment and I wrote an article about. I'm the owner. I'm in multiple states. I'm consulting for all sorts of different things. I'm building stuff, and I love being in the operating room. Now, if you can only beam me into the operating room, and I said that on my last podcast, 2 podcasts ago, because there's so much the difficulty to get to your OR, like I mentioned earlier.
Absolutely.
So if you can beam me into your room, that is the funnest place to be.
Yeah. So the thing about that's important from my perspective that I'm sharing with you is because the value of a solid rep and the value they add to the case, because you do that, okay, and Josh does that, and Ryan Stokes does that, and they got a guy named Joe Torino that they literally brought in. He's classic. This is a guy also brilliant. He was West Point grad.
There you go. I want those.
Yeah, he gets into medical school. The Army says, sorry, you can't go. You're getting deployed.
Oh, because they need him on the front lines.
They need him on the front lines, literally.
Hey,
so the guy misses out on going to medical school.
I tried to enlist in the Marines after the whole Pat Tillman thing.
Amazing.
He grew up in. I'm really good friends with the Tillman family.
Well, they got their high school right out down the street here. Amazing, gentlemen.
Did they name it after Pat?
Yeah, there's a Pat Tillman High School.
Well, I mean, I went to the Leland and I went to all the elementary. So Tillman family.
But what they do is, I'm sure you. I certainly know Josh does and his team at Omega. They actively train. Continuously. And
continuing education. You have to get CE credits.
Absolutely.
So why can't we do that for reps?
No, because nobody wants to invest.
Do you want to teach the reps? Because I opened up a new facility.
Yeah. So as
can I tell you about my new facility? Because I got to do a little pub.
Go for it.
So I'm closing in on my new head. No, but dude, we're gonna share this because we're gonna do so much because I love it so much. But my new facility, we should be closing. Jessica's going to let me know now, but 4,000 square feet,
Nice.
content studio. It's going to be better than this one. Sorry, guys. Content studio. Then I have my warehouse, which is going to be temperature controlled. I'll have a clean room. I'll have 3D printers. I'll have everything on all the stuff that we're designing. Hot designs. My engineers are awesome. It's just going to be a problem-solving incubator. I'm just going to put them all in one room and throw meat at them and be like, don't ever leave. Just design stuff, and I'm going to tell you what to design. Then I have a 5-station cadaver lab.
Nice.
And these are the concepts I'm doing, and this is why Morgan Hill, outside of San Jose, I'm not bringing it into San Jose. You know Morgan Hill.
They have almonds there. Yeah.
Well, Mark Turner, the mayor of Morgan Hill, came to Jessica's birthday, and I love you, Mark and Sue. So they're welcoming me to Morgan Hill because I'm going to have a cadaver lab. I'm hoping you can teach reps, obviously surgeons, because look, you love us. And it's so good that you love us, man. I can't tell you enough. I'm like, I want to quit this thing, right? That's why I call it the death of a spine salesman. I want to quit, but I can't. I'm too far in. So I'm going to double down on education. So I will have you teach on cadavers. We'll film it. It'll be a medical sales college on steroids. And I don't know if I'm charging or not because I'm not out to make money. But I also want to bring med tech and stem cells. I said stem cells because Chris interrupted me. I didn't mean to say stem cells. Thank you, Chris, for telling me 15 minutes. Are we talking too much? But I can talk all day with John Eddishami. So, I want to do STEM programs. What about a camp? You have science camp. What kind of camp did you go to? I went to Gandhi camp. What did you go to?
No,
You went to camp. Come on. Did you?
No, I think we just made some comb holders or anything. I grew up very. I just took summer school. So when I was in
Was summer school free?
I think it was. I mean,
Was it a cost thing?
It was just what are you going to do? I'm not going to sit around doing something. So I remember
I went to
once,
Gandhi camp.
Yeah, I would go to Berkeley. It was right near our house. So I literally go there, and there was a pre-calculus class, statistics class, whatever, abstract out, just sit in it.
Damn, that's how you spent your summer?
Yeah, that's how you spent the summer. It was.
I learned about nonviolence, and now I want to be an MMA fighter. I learned a lot from Gandhi, right? I was all vegetarian though, so we had to sneak out of there and go get ham sandwiches at the country store.
There you go.
And then I would sell them inside the spot who wanted a roast beef. But
you're always the salesman. You got that in your blood.
Well,
absolutely.
Look, you told me a great story last time at dinner about the 14-year-old. That was your brother?
No, that was my brother's father-in-law. One of the most amazing men I've ever met.
So you're coming back and you're going to tell that story,
Absolutely.
but because we're on a good topic here about education, right? You get continuous education. Why don't reps get it? And the companies, in one of my last segments with Dr. David Ye, I talk about big med tech not educating their reps anymore, and that's why we're dying. And honestly, the representative do not want to look at this profession as an art, as critical thinking, solutions-based kind of stuff. They just want to call it a job and try to punch a time clock, and that's not it.
Absolutely. So the problem with that is, we're here having a great conversation.
Yeah, I love it.
Why? We're engaged in this conversation.
Yeah.
We're both passionate and care about this thing. If you are just told, listen, you're a job. You take Trey there. You're a delivery boy, pizza delivery guy.
Yeah.
He's not enrolled into this. How good the anchovies or the whatever. It's just he gets paid per delivery. Okay. And whether he's delivering 3 good pizzas or 3 crappy pizzas, he really or she doesn't really care. So the system has specifically gone in a direction where the rep is not engaged. Who comes to to your office hours to look at films anymore? No one.
I do. I love looking at
I
film.
understand that.
And I teach that.
Yeah. So
if you will have me.
Yeah. But 20 years ago, every rep did. And
NuVasive did that so well.
And because classic. So, for example, actually the only rep that still reviews films with me is the Providence medical rep for that posterior cervical chorus.
Oh, yeah, the D-track.
Right,
is that Hoppy? Nikki Hoppy?
Nikki Hoppy, amazing.
Give her a shout out.
There you go.
Give her a shout out.
And
I knew who that
reason
was.
is it's kind of like she really needs to help with the C-arms and all that stuff.
I appreciate it. It's a procedure that you percutaneously are doing, but she's understanding you do biplanar fluoro on that?
Yeah, but so setting up the biplanar
she's getting the imaging down for her.
but there's a little bit more to that. So for example, let's say your left-sided facet joints are highly arthritic.
Yeah.
You don't want to start on that side. You want to start on the easy side where the anatomy is more normal. And once you get the easy side, having the easy side done allows you, because when you're doing the highly arthritic
Do you know Bruce McCormick?
Not personally.
I heard he was one of the founders. Well, look, when it was coming out of, it came out of the Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
They were based in Walnut
San
Creek.
Francisco, yeah.
And I forget the CEO's name, but I met him a couple times. But Bruce McCormick, I covered him at Medtronic. What would I say to so as I never competed against, I didn't have a product, but they would say that it's a kyphosing procedure.
It is.
It is.
It is. There's no doubt.
It is. If you do it standalone.
Yes. No,
you're a cervical expert.
Yeah.
So tell me about that, because I don't mean to ruin them here, but I always looked at it just in my head, and it looks like a kyphosing procedure.
It doesn't look. It is a kyphosing.
Is that
procedure.
the premise?
Yeah. I mean, no. That's the cost of doing it that way. You see what I mean?
But in your hands, you do not make it that way?
I do, but you make trade-offs. So let's say patient has a one-level non-union.
This is hot.
So patient has 3-level ACDF, C4 to 7, 6-7 did infuse. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're much better. You already have an ACDF in there. There's no problem with you just doing that one level posteriorly and the patient going home the same day rather than dissecting that muscle off and putting lateral mass screws. So it is
that's a painful procedure.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It is. I mean, for the patient, right?
Yeah.
So you have a one level non-union. How much kyphosis are you going to get from that one level?
Yeah.
And the other one, so there's really clearly, as you start working with it, you start seeing what it does. So if you know you have an osteoporotic, difficult to heal 4-level ACDF, that you're going to go ahead and do a 4-level ACDF on because, grandma loves her Marlboro Lights and,
she ain't going to stop.
She's not going to stop.
She's going to live till she's 100.
Yeah. And she's been, the family doesn't bring her over for Thanksgiving because she smokes and everything else. And
that's so mean.
No, it is. But if she's not giving that up to not die, she's certainly not giving up for a fusion. So, but she's myelopathic. So you do a 4-level ACDF on her, and you're going to come back to do this procedure posteriorly. You dial in some.
You already know.
Yeah, you dial in some extra lordosis or a little taller cage, and then you bring her back, and then for her, guess what, lady? This is as good as you're going to get because this is what you need.
Yeah, you say dial in more lordosis. Now that's what's hot about your additive.
Yeah.
Implant. But okay, I want to do segments on this because I really love your implant. I saw it. I've been tracking it for a long time. The problem with your implant is it's not approved at the major hospital systems, and that would deters people like myself to working with it until I meet someone like you and I go, I want to help you, and I will. So let's get that straight. But you were one of the ones first to be a pioneer around 3D printing in porous titanium and having bony ingrowth and on growth and a humongous lumen. And what I think is good modulus on the gigapascal standpoint of how you do your printing. And so your instrumentation is awesome without even me seeing it, by just you describing it, because of the multiple footprints in your implant offerings. But one tray, come on, dog. You're going to give me one tray? Are you? I'm going to go to your headquarters. I'm going to find that out.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this kind of, so the thing is, design, when you're an engineer, you design for design criteria. You're building a plane. You want it stealthy? Fine. It's going to look funny. I'm sorry. It's just going to look, it's stealthy, and it's not going to be able to carry as much weapons. And so, they have these, and the Air Force.
You studied engineering.
Yeah. Definitely.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
I didn't study engineering.
Okay.
Can I be an engineer?
Absolutely.
Good, because I'll tell you this. Did you get an MBA?
No, I did not.
But do you think you have good business acumen?
I don't know if I have good business acumen.
Well, I'll tell you why you do, sir. Your chief residency and how you described that and how you directed that team and understanding how to problem solve, No MBA would ever give you that, even if you went to HBS or Harvard Business School.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? I got a certificate. Do you love when everyone puts that they have a certificate from Harvard? Do you laugh at that?
No, my wife's a Harvard grad, so
Did she laugh at that?
No, she calls it the H-bomb. So it's like
I went to a state school, sir. Does that make me dumb?
No, it doesn't.
I went to go play baseball, but that was a different thing.
Those are the guys that make money, right? So,
School is stupid, I think.
Yeah,
Sorry. Shocker.
Yeah.
I say that.
So it's always, the A students go into academics and they become professors, and it's to see students that hustle and make the dollar. So literally,
that's why I love your 14-year-old story.
There you go. Exactly.
That story has been stuck with me.
Yeah.
Like, where's Kenneth? Kenneth, did you love that 14-year-old story? He loved it. See, Kenneth said something. He's back there creeping out.
So what it is any profession, honestly, if you look at like legal, I mean, the lawyers that have the most amount of money, their resume on paper at least isn't that impressive. They just knew how to generate that, and so it doesn't translate. So I have this great surgeon in town. He is the best arthroplasty surgeon.
Can I ask who?
His name is Brett Hansen. He works at Abrazo. I have never seen.
Is this the guy from Utah?
No, he's not from Utah. He is. He just has some intuitive capability of knowing what matters and what doesn't. I've been sending in patients for 15 years. And
really?
And there was a gentleman
must be good.
He is. And then they all come back and they do well. So, and he doesn't like it's a 350 pound. Before him, there was a gentleman that passed away. His name was Joe Janzer. He also, so what it is, you look at their resume and it's definitely,
it checks out.
They didn't go to Hopkins. They didn't go to whatever, but they somehow manage to get good outcomes. And that in itself is, that's what matters at the end of it. So it doesn't matter where you got your MBA from. You can generate sales. Okay. Win.
Yeah. So
that's
additive, you're doing a lot of it. You're wearing all the hats. I mean, you kind of amaze me, sir, because you have a flourishing practice. And now you're an entrepreneur just because you wanted a challenge.
No, it wasn't that. Nobody was making the implants for me. So, I was using.
There you go. I love that.
So I was a big Titan user. I knew Dr. Ulrich. I mean, and I kept telling.
Why didn't you just follow him to Medtronic?
No, they are not interested.
Nano it's not porous though.
It wasn't porous, but all I was asking,
not ingrowth.
Ingrowth, absolutely.
But big lumen.
Yeah. But what I wanted was a wider cage, and I wanted hyperlordosis.
Yes, and tell me the degrees of lordosis.
So the additive one comes in 7, 10, and 14.
Let's go.
Yeah, and so it's not like you need it every day, but you
there's
you
the time chest on chin.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the idea,
I can say we, my guys,
absolutely,
and girls,
and so it was the idea of being able to. But the idea was just not having everything in your bag all at the same time. And so you make this, as long as you knew you were doing an anterior cervical, that it was, you had the tray and then the implants kind of came with it. But the reason, I had a pretty good life before additive, and the reason additive was formed, and I literally talked to Biomet. I was actually developing a contract.
Oh, prior to the Zimmer.
Amazing lady, Amy Bronkstromer. She lives in the Bay Area.
Oh, really?
No, she has her own consulting company, marketing company.
Can you connect me to her?
Absolutely. She lives in the Bay Area, and her husband's a neurosurgeon. Oh. And me and her were working on this idea of building something to compete with Titan and TM, tubercular metal, that Zimmer had.
Yeah.
And I had all these designs and plans. And literally, she was around the conference table in my office. And she said, wait, I just got a text. We got bought out by Zimmer. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, you better go back, make sure you have a job now. And,
my gosh.
So literally everybody all these mergers kept happening.
There's going to be more, dude.
Yeah.
And what's your prediction? Because, because we got to wrap up, but I want some of your predictions.
Yeah, I think
like A-Tech.
Yeah.
I heard Medtronic tried to buy them for $400 million. Did you hear that?
No, I don't know.
Do you
about
believe that could happen? Maybe I'm just spreading rumors, but dude, that's why it's my show, and I'm going to cause
everything can happen. I mean, the VB spine is the classic one because
can you really introduce me to the VB people, like the guys in my Bay Area, like James Pinto? This guy Joe Abdullah. I'm dealing with the small level people. I want to talk to the VB guys.
They're very approachable, very pleasant, and
but
they
really know who I am, but they won't talk to me because I can't even They can't even come on my podcast. The CEO of Sentinel said to his team, Chris Andre and Dan Keefe, that they can't come on my podcast unless they follow these rules. So I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to follow your rules when I sell your stuff.
I didn't even get a copy of your rules.
Did I give you
No,
what did we do to prep? Just tell them what we did to prep. Nothing.
You told me where to go to.
But John, that's what I do. Sorry, Dr. Ehteshami. That's what I do because like I need it raw and like, look how freaking in sync we are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the reality is you'll have the same thing.
Who else can I bring on?
No, all sorts. Peter Durman from Texas Back.
I like him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He went to Stanford.
He'll his HSS grad. He'll do a handstand on this.
I know.
Gymnast, he can do a.
Should I have Betsy Grunch on?
I don't know if she'll come on. She's very
So you
hard
gonna
to
big
get.
time me?
I don't know, but you got. I mean, with
I
that
hung out with her one time, and
Did you?
she was like, dude, have you seen how many followers I have on Instagram? And I go, yo, lady, dude, like no one knows you in Hollywood, so don't think you're that
Don't
great.
be surprised. She might be on Grey's Anatomy or I don't know if that's even on. But I could totally. That's how old. That's last
She should get an agent and not be a neurosurgeon.
I'm sure
but hey, I love her social media stuff because I'm a big promoter of that.
No, I promote her too. I mean, she talks about people diving and getting broken necks.
Now she's gonna listen to this and she's gonna be like, I hate that Showmit guy.
No,
I don't care. I don't need any business from you.
No, she I don't think she's a hater. She's very she's pretty
inspiring.
comfortable. Yeah,
she's inspiring. The weight loss on her.
I didn't even notice that.
Because I track this and I go, because she was talking about GLPs and semaglutides, and she was a prime example.
I just love her house at Halloween. I'm like, I want to come to your Halloween party,
dude. Let's go. Let's crash it.
Yeah,
let's crash. What would you dress up as? What's your favorite?
What do you do? My weirdest Halloween costume was
you dress up. Me
I dressed
too.
up as I dressed up as Hello Kitty. And that got a little hot.
That is sexy and weird all at the same time.
And then the best one with my wife was she went as a tree and I went as a tree hugger. So that was
Berkeley,
interesting.
baby.
Berkeley, guys.
Berkeley.
Yeah.
You should have been the people that lived in the trees.
Yeah.
You should have lived in her tree.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I want one last message to our audience about keeping up the fight and make sure that we are not dying.
Yeah, I think the reality is I don't see you guys as dying. I think I see it as transformational. The role you guys play, the nights you lose sleep, you don't sleep. So I sleep. You see, it's either seriously. So I can tell you the number of and my poor reps, Robert and everybody else can tell you the number of times I text them at 9:30. So all my reps know when they drop off the tray, they let me know. Not only do they have to drop it off, they have to make sure SPD took it in. I had a situation. I'm doing an A-lift. Back in the day when I was doing lumbar, they dropped a tray off and SPD didn't process it.
I know that happens all the time. Dude, I'll sleep with the tray. I've actually slept with a tray in a hospital just because like it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Might as well be up at 5. So I just hunkered down in my car. Look, we're going to end this on this. Dr. John Eddishami, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you for recognizing us and really... Dude, we're trying to fight a fight. There's a lot of people out there online, and you always rally behind us, sir. Yeah. And we feel your support. And only if you can help your colleagues to, if we go away, sir, it's
more work for me, right?
It's more work for them. Tell them that.
It really is. And I think, I've definitely stood up for reps. I've had to go to the hospital CEO and vouch for him. And I've threatened moving my cases. I've actually moved my cases.
A ton of my surgeries. I've been kicked out of hospitals before, right? Because I'm so hardcore.
Yeah. And...
not in a bad way.
Not necessarily, I wouldn't say hardcore, but you have your agenda, and your agenda puts the surgeon and the patient first. The hospital puts their process first. So it's just so it's a matter of and for the hospital, something has to be process based for them to be able to, like the Borg type of thing. They have to articulate to a process. So I think, but the problem here is the surgeons or you or the implant companies or the patients, they have no seat at the table. You were not even heard. Our input's not even welcome.
You guys gotta be so frustrated.
And it's just like, hey, and so from their standpoint, they're the ones doing everything right, and we're the ones doing everything right. And the other part, there is genuine contempt. So if you look at relationships like divorces, whatever, the kiss of death in the relationship is contempt. When you have contempt for your spouse, there's no saving that relationship.
Yeah, bye-bye. That's divorce.
So divorce, yeah. So if you respect
that's
her...
why your wife... Does your wife do a lot of divorce stuff?
No, she doesn't.
Oh, she doesn't?
Yeah. She's an employment attorney.
Oh, employment.
Yeah.
Okay, so the non-compete stuff. That's
yeah,
I thought it was general
Shabazi
practicing.
Law,
Yeah.
Shabazi law with the
Yeah,
CH.
get it out there.
And,
give a little pub.
No, absolutely.
You got to get it out.
Barred in the
Hey,
state
my
of
10
California.
followers will want to know. Hey, we're going to boost that, though. Sir, you're going to help me boost it? Thank you so much. We had so much fun, guys. And please, we got to get this thing viral. Dude, John Eddishami is a legend. He's a wonderful human, a gentleman. There's so many stories that he's got to tell on this thing. So make it go big. And what is this place called again, Chris? Podpuli? I always screw up the name. Pod Populi. It's like Hawaiian. But I signed with them, so they're going to make us rich and famous. All right, we're out. Death of a Spine Salesman. Show me chains. Holla!